Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Ronnie B. filling in for Spitface. I'm here with the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith, CJ out of Chi-Town, my kind of town, and we got the goddess Kelly, the diva of sports debate. Check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring music from Miss Celly. Now, will she find her shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? Either way, it's time for the old school giggle to get things started out, to get your blood flowing. Let's get our giggle on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rita Rudner.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Las Vegas. I know people have many different opinions about Las Vegas, but you know why I think it is the perfect place to vacation? Because I don't care where you're from, Las Vegas is the opposite of it. Is it true? Because gambling's legal, prostitution's legal. Guess the jails here are just full of people who litter. We have beauty and wonder right around the corner, the Grand Canyon. I went last year, but I didn't do the helicopter. No, I wasn't afraid of the helicopter. It's just that before you get in one, you have to tell your weight. I looked around and thought, well, if everyone is lying like I'm lying, we're going down. In the summer now we have topless sunbathing by the pools. Ooh, I would never do that. Things cross my mind like they've never been in the sun. They might catch fire. And my husband says he won't allow me to go topless. He says he's afraid I might poke someone's knee out. Oh, it's not that funny. It's just not. And it gets so hot here in the summer. It really does, but it doesn't bother people. Hottest day of the year, this woman, she's out there sunbathing by the pool. I could tell she was done. Well, her belly button had popped up. You know what I like, though? I like those spray-on tans. Have you seen them? They're so easy. I use them on turkey. Because you're not supposed to go in the sun. I've read about it. Oh, it's so bad for you. It's supposed to make your skin leathery and wrinkly and old. Sometimes I look at those gorgeous 16-year-old girls just baking themselves on the beach and think, fry, you home wreckers. Fry!
All right. That was the old school giggle. First Lady, we are ready. What you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we asked, what you saying? Slide, little birdie, slide. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie, known as Zach Randolph, wishes he could fly far, far away from being arrested on marijuana charges with the intent to sell. My. Police on patrol observed a crowd drinking, smoking pot, blasting music, and blocking streets at the Nickerson Gardens projects in Watts. Officers called for backup when the crowd grew and people began throwing bottles and rocks. 5 police cars and 1 sheriff's vehicle ended up with smashed windows and slashed tires. No officers were hurt. Thank goodness. You are hanging out at a housing project. The police showed up and have marijuana in your possession. Why are you there? Why? Aaron Brockovich, Letitia Musgrove, Virginia Woolf, and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Zach. You know, with the situation, guys, you can take the player out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the player. This is the problem. These players, regardless of how long they have been removed from their past lifestyles, they are still attracted to the hood and marijuana. As Stephen A. Smith says, you can't stay off the weed. Arrested for marijuana possession with the intent to sell. I mean, I seriously doubt Zebo was trying to sell drugs. He was just being a good person. He bought a large quantity of marijuana for everybody in the hood to smoke. I mean, he's just a given person. That's what this was all about. Please, Pastel. I mean, I don't even think he was going to sell it. But, you know, this is not the first time that Zach Randall has had problems with marijuana. I mean, back in 2012, I don't know if you guys remember, but a drug dealer was arrested at his house for a drug-related assault. But Zebo, you know, was not involved with the arrest. He just happened to he knew the man, but the man was at his house. So, you know, you get associated with your friends. And in 2010, Zebo's name was tied to an Indianapolis drug ring, you know, where they seized multiple vehicles registered under his name. So they thought these vehicles were used in a drug deal, but it turned out that didn't happen. So Zebo is always attached to these problems. And yes, he loves to smoke marijuana. There's no question about it. But he has to do much better. He just has to stay away from the hood. I don't understand why he was hanging out at a housing project in Watts. I mean, you are a big-time NBA player. I mean, come on now. If you want to smoke marijuana, that's your business. But, people, you need to do it in your home, in the privacy of your home. If you want people over, have a few people over, and you can smoke marijuana. But do not hang out in the hood anymore because, I mean, this time you're going to have to really do some real – your lawyers are really going to have to do some real, I guess, some investigation to get you out of this mess. But I still don't think you were trying to sell it. Goddess Kelly, excuse me, what do you think about Zebo and his situation?
I mean, you made a lot of the points that I wanted to make, First Lady. I was thinking a lot of the same thoughts. But the other thing, too, you got to remember, he's 36 years old. I don't care if you're an NBA star or you work at McDonald's. At 36 years old, what are you doing hanging out on the street, partying in the hood, doing that kind of shit? You know what? There comes a point in your life where you need to just grow up. And yeah, that's what it says. And like you said, if you want to, you know, smoke your pot, that's cool. Do it at home. There's lots of people out there that smoke pot. A lot of places have it decriminalized where people aren't even getting in trouble for it. But when you're partying on the streets, making a ruckus, causing noise disturbances, and then you lash back at police who try and shut you up, you're going to have to expect to face some consequences. If this was a first offense, I'd say that he'd be in the clear. The NBA would kind of sweep this under the rug, that kind of thing. But like you mentioned, he's been in trouble so many times before. I think that this might be the beginning of the end for him. And yeah, I think that he's going to have some trouble getting out of this one with all the stuff that's going on in his past. So you know what? Dumb move. Be smarter. You're an NBA star. You know what? You had a great career. You could still have a good career. You know, transition into a sixth-man role, still being a viable option out there on the court, and you are trying to throw it away. Grow up already.
I'll tell you, you just signed a new contract with a new team. I mean, really, that's just crazy. CJ, I know in Chicago there's been a lot of drug deals and things going on. I mean, I just don't understand why an NBA player would be there. So give me your feedback regarding this.
Well, I think it still stems back to past behaviors. If those are the things that have come about to become the epsilon of making you who you are, then you're going to go back to that. And in order to prove yourself, you want to prove yourself with viable substances, such as marijuana. The problem with me is that how is this 6'8" person supposed to be a quote-unquote in the hood in a large group, and the police are called and nobody pulls him out of it? How is he just sitting there? I mean, you know, it seems like if he's the big NBA star, I'm sorry, Why wouldn't they say, well, the police are coming. Let's get him out. Let's move, man. Let's go. Time to bounce. Or was it that he was there, all these people were around him, the police might have misconstrued the crowd of people, because every time they see a crowd of people, they seem to get a little antsy when it's, a crowd of people.
Now, CJ, come on now. Don't just say a crowd of people. You mean a crowd of black people. Let's put an adjective
there. And they seem to act a little crazy sometimes. And then now, see, these young people, they're acting crazy back. And they don't know what to do. See, things aren't going to be the same as they were in the past anymore, I don't think. And I think that's the problem. They want to play by the old rules when it's convenient and play by new rules when it's not so convenient. Like right now it's convenient. Yes, let's put him away. He's in trouble. But as long as those little heathens were being nice and kind and sweet and nothing was happening in the hood, oh, no, that's no problem. Let it keep running right on through. What? Oh, no, we know nothing about that. That killing over there? Nope, couldn't find him.
Well, CJ, that was the problem.
Sorry.
He was 6 feet 8, and they saw that big man running, so they knew something was wrong. He ran away from. That was the problem. And of course, you have to report because this happened in Los Angeles. Who else gets the news?
And with a book bag, with it in a book bag, he couldn't give it to his homie. I mean, to the security guard to hold. Just suspect.
Anyway, but like I said, TMZ is always on the case when it's in Los Angeles. They got something in with the LA police. They got connections. Because no other. It was funny. No other news media reported this. They got it from TMZ. It was the funniest thing to see. But anything, yeah.
Just saying. But I'm going to say that. But anyways, moving on.
All right. All right. Over to you, guys.
I did want to say one thing
ahead,
before
Roddy
we move on to the next segment. And let's see. Drinking, smoking pot, blasting music. That sounds like a party to me.
Block party.
Me, Smith Face and Old School, we trying to get the address.
That's what I'm saying. I'm glad you understand my thoughts.
But the other part is I do have to say, ladies, I've been in many crowds. Some crowds dark, some crowds light. When there be crowd, sooner or later, there'll be federales. Okay. Do we have? We were having some technical problems with the goddess. Goddess, did we get your technical problems resolved?
Yes, I am back. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Let me tell you, do not spill a mimosa on your microphone. It's not good for anybody.
Okay, well, over to you, Goddess Kelly.
Don't call it a comeback. I have been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition, I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest. That'll get sliced and diced, competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We're not talking about Maggie Fitzgerald, June Carter Cash, or Queen Elizabeth II. We are talking about the knockout punch. The mellow fellow, a.k.a. Carmelo Anthony, is putting on the dreams of DeMarcus Cousins. Boogie and the Pelicans believe they can create the next Big Three if they can just get the mellow one to come down to the Crescent City. Carmelo has all but put in stone that he wants to go to Rocket City and play with the bearded one should Melo reconsider. The Pelicans have enough junk contracts they can dish to meet Melo's salary. Is he being short-sighted, not giving them serious consideration? Should the Pelicans have a seance with Miss Cleo and put a little hoodoo voodoo to work to entice the mellow one? Alice Howland, Joy Newsome, Mia Dolan are asking, what you saying? You know, there has been so much talk about what Carmelo Anthony should do this offseason, but you know what? He's another one. We got to remember, he's been kind of a little bit washed up, so I don't know why everybody is putting all of this on Melo. He has done pretty much nothing for as long as he has been on the New York Knicks, and people are acting like he is the second coming of LeBron James, and he is not. You have to remember, he's the same age as LeBron James and doesn't have nearly the same kind of accolades as LeBron James. So to be kind of honest, I'm a little bit sick of talking about Carmelo. He's going to go where he's going to go. The Pelicans, they've been trying to put something together. More power to them, but I don't think that Melo is the answer that they're looking for. What you saying, First Lady?
Well, first of all, God, Kelly, you got to be light on my man, Carmelo Anthony. You were kind of rough on him there. Now, it wasn't all his fault that he didn't do anything in New York. It was the Knicks organization's fault because they really never surrounded him by other great players. So let's just remember that. Remember, he is not LeBron James, but he still can play. He can still ball. He can shoot. That's one thing Carmelo Anthony can do. So anyway, let me get to the Pelicans. First of all, I'm amazed that Boogie Cousins want Melo to join the Pelicans because it's still unclear if Boogie and Anthony Davis can play together. And you if you want to add another person that needs the ball, and that's Melo, he needs the ball. So first of all, I don't even think it's a good match for Melo to be with the Pelicans because if he plays with the Pelicans, that means he has to play small forward. And we know that he just doesn't play well as small forward because he's a defensive liability as a small forward. But he can play the power forward. That's where he has a great advantage. And on the Pelicans, he can't play power forward because you have Anthony Davis there because Boogie Cousins is the center. So that's not going to happen. And, Miss Cleo, God rest her soul, and I know she couldn't put a spell to bring Carmelo to New Orleans because that's not going to happen. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there's three teams that Carmelo can do well with. Obvious, the Cavaliers, because the Cavaliers have LeBron James, and anybody can fit with LeBron James and win a title or at least go to the finals. I don't know why Kyrie Irving doesn't see that, but God knows he's just going crazy. I don't know. He wants to be the man. But Houston, well, Houston is a fit for him, but I really think the Portland Trail Blazers is a better fit. The Portland Trail Blazers have been really trying to recruit Carmelo. And I can see Carmelo playing on the Portland Trail Blazers because he can play that power forward position, and they can have an inside-out game because, Carmelo is really good on the post. It's just that he doesn't play the post that much anymore. And if he can play the post, he's a good one-on-one player, and they will have to double-team him, and he can pass it out to the shooters on the Trailblazer in Damian Lillard and McCollum. So, to me, that's a better fit than the Rockets. So I just hope that this really comes to fruition, and the bottom line is that, they need to make the trade. He's only going to waive his no-trade clause for Houston. But the problem is nobody, including the Knicks, want Ryan Anderson's $60 million contract. So as long as that $60 million contract cannot be moved, Carmelo Anthony will not be with the Houston, and I believe that he will still be with the New York Knicks at the beginning of the season. They may try to move him around the December 15 mark or around the All-Star weekend, but that's what I'm predicting. He will still be with the New York Knicks. Goddess Kelly.
See, the thing is for me is if he can't come to Cleveland and play with the Cavaliers, I just don't care anymore. I'm sick of people not doing anything for me. So, CJ, what you got to say?
Well, he's trying. He made his wish out there, and you guys just don't want him to have his wish to go and play with the Rockets. The moment that he gets there, he's not going to be satisfied. He's going to find another reason on why they're going to lose there, too. And then what? What's going to happen then? It'll be the same thing, but next year. But next year he'll be a year older. And then he'll want to finally go and play with the people he doesn't really want to go and play with. But he says he wants to play with the bearded one. Let him have it. It should make a very interesting season. That's what I'm saying. You say that they're not going to let him move. The Knicks aren't going to let him go. I think they're trying because they're tired of hearing his mouth. They don't want to hear him anymore. Wah, 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 wah. Always crying about something. Something's always wrong. So no, they want him to go and be happy. But who's going to come to the Knicks? That's a good question. That's a very good question because they need to have some zen to them, some type of aura, and a little bit of compassion for Mr. Jackson.
So you're making Mello sound like he's a millennial, and yeah, I think he's a little too old for that. Ronnie B, what do you think about the Mello fellow?
He has that type of behavior with a generic body.
The mellow one has seen better days, and I'm really a little bit like the goddess. I don't care where Mello goes. Wherever he goes, he's getting an inflated salary, and to me, he's at the point in his career that, hey, the cards just didn't go your way, brother, but boy, did you go to the bank. That's all I'm saying. Hey, get paid.
Oh, let's put an end to the Mello fellow. First Lady, please take us to break.
The first two listeners to email us or send a shout-out why the ladies are grouped together will receive a $25 gift card from our partners at NFLShop.com and Interstate Batteries. Now, your hit is they are Oscar-worthy. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Miss Celly on first part of Shout-Out. That's Miss Celly, not Miss Celly.
A mellow fellow.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports, and it is time for shout out. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from our panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Miss Celly.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. And today we are featuring Miss Celly. And DJ, we're going to hear Skin Tight. Boy, is that a remake of the Ohio player Skin Tight? I'm dying to hear this one.
Pop a bottle of love, and we can dance the night away. We have so many hours left to waste, burning in my throat. Feel the warmth of love's embrace, a sweet smell of bittersweet aftertaste. Yeah. I'm drowning, I'm breathing underwater. I'm alive in your arms home. Won't you hold me closer? When you love on me like it's a skin tight dress. This is where I only rip it off my body. Lipstick smeared all over my face. You make it mean. Like you mean it, babe. Kiss me like you mean it. Kiss me like you mean it. Kiss me like you mean it, babe. Kiss me like you mean it. Kiss me like you mean it. Music's loud. Watch me dance. Watch my body move all night long. And drink me down. Just lose your mind. Yeah, we've been sipping on. I'm drowning. I'm breathing. Breathing underwater, I'm driving you hold me closer? Will you love on me like it's a skin that dress? Rip it off my body. Rip the spirit out of my face. We are rolling light. Stars until the night. Bringing love down again. I'm drowning, I'm breathing underwater. I'm alive in your arms home. Won't you hold me closer? Will you love on me like it's a skin tight dress? This is for only rip it off my body. Lipstick smeared all over my face. You're leaving me breathless. Feel like a minute. It's been like a minute, babe. It's been like a minute. It's been like a minute. It's been like a minute. It's been like a minute.
Okay. That's skin tight. That darn sure didn't sound like Ohio players skin tight. But anyway, let's go to the panel to see what they thought about Miss Celly. Goddess Kelly. Are you going to be this? I know you got a lot to say. What do you think about this song?
Boring, complete and utter boring. Like some of the instrumentals there, it was kind of cool. It was a little psychedelic, but then just her voice and those lyrics. Oh my gosh, I was so bored, Miss Celly. So bored. I don't know. You need some cocaine. That's what you need. You need some cocaine in your life. Get some energy up in this, and start getting excited. Because you know what, your voice. It wasn't that good. So without a little catchy hook or something like that, you got nothing. Nothing. I was bored.
All right. Well, Goddess, because she sure tell you how she feel about music. Anyway, let's move on to CJ. CJ, what did you think about Skin Tight?
Well, I think she and that other basketball player, the one that just got caught with the marijuana, the 2 pounds, they were hanging out together.
Wow.
That's that kind of good stuff. As
Okay.
you're just listening to, and you can't hear anything else. So it all sounds like one big little blur going across. So they gonna shout it out.
But you're not shouting it out, right? You hitting the mute button. Okay.
It's gonna be on the radio in a store near you soon.
Ronnie B, what's your take?
Well, given that this is Ronnie B with the Old Grumpy Radio Network, I must stress to our listeners that the name of the show is Bras, Panties, and Sports, not marijuana, cocaine, and sports. Just want to make sure y'all know that. This is not marijuana, cocaine, and sports. It's Bras, Panties, Sports. All right. And I'm going to give it a yo because of the lyrics and because I actually like the lyrics. The lyrics is kind of freaky. I like the lyrics, but everything else was okay. So I'm giving it a yo.
Well, I guess I'm the only one. I'm actually going to shout the song out. I kind of like the song. I mean, I like her voice, Miss Goddess Kelly. And like you said, Ronnie B., the words, the lyrics of the song was good. The only thing to me that I really didn't care too much was the music. I thought the music was a little bit boring. But, I mean, compared to what we've heard before on this show, I'm going to shout it out. Miss Celly.
Okay.
I'm going to shout it out.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
A shout out, so it's still 50-50. Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to have to see what Miss Celly does on part 2 of shout out to see if she can get some shout outs instead of those mute. I mean, like you said, we're a little bit indecisive regarding her. But anyway, it's the sound, all right, of my favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It.
And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, flying there under the sea.
All right, time for Flip It, where our hosts defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. There are rumblings going on about having a protest rally for Colin Kaepernick. We ask our panel, will this hurt or help him? Defend. The NFL bows to the fans all the time. Unfortunately, the protesters are not the fans the NFL is worried about. A protest would hurt his chances of playing this year. Goddess Kelli, defend.
Well, I think a protest absolutely would hurt his chances. The NFL does not want to have any kind of controversy whatsoever, and a protest is going to cause controversy. People are talking about boycotting the NFL this year because Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. A lot of people on my friends list are doing that, but we have to remember, last season when he started the protest, there was people on the other side of this issue that were also boycotting the NFL, saying, you know what, if he's not going to stand for the national anthem, I'm not going to stand for watching football. So no matter what the NFL seems to do or what side they take, they're going to be losing fans on this issue. And we have to remember that the NFL, at the end of the day, it is a business. So what they think the smartest thing to do is to just ignore it, wait for the situation to blow over, and the more attention that's brought to Colin Kaepernick, the worst chance he has of finding a new position as a quarterback in the NFL, because they just want to stay far, far away from that. They don't want to get into politics. That's not the NFL's thing. That might be the NBA's thing, but it's definitely not the NFL's thing.
Well, okay, fly far, far away from an issue. CJ, put that biscuit down. Defend.
I think that the NFL is going to punk out, and they're not going to actually look at this because it is a business. And they don't care if Colin Kaepernick is on the roster or not. They've proven that. They're just going to say, and whatever you guys do what you're going to do. We're going to have our 12 or 14 weeks, and we're going to do them well. And if you want to come along with the fun, that's fine. But if you want to bring up civil rights or anything racist or anything with equality or anything like that, or history, no, let's not talk about that here on the football field. Let's save that for another arena. And that day's not going to happen. So since we're going to just keep pushing that away, in a few more months, he'll be a who is he. But in the meantime, we're going to keep on going the way we're going to go.
CJ is a businesswoman extraordinaire, and, she just kind of laid the facts on it. Anything else in the defense? Okay, all right. Well, First Lady, the NFL bows to the fans, but not these protesters. Defend.
First of all, protesting at the NFL office will not help his chances of getting a job because It's not the NFL office that is holding him back. It's certain teams. The fans really need to protest the Ravens, the Jets, and the Dolphins, because these are the teams that really need a quarterback and didn't give Kaepernick a chance. I mean, what about Kaepernick's fellow NFL players to come out and be more vocal and support him? This would be more effective than protesting in front of the NFL office. What about DeMarcy Smith and the NFL Players Union? I really haven't heard them. They've been awfully quiet about this situation. Let's face it, the NFL has tunnel vision, and they only care about one type of fan, and that's any fan that's going to protest against domestic violence. You know, that's the big thing for the NFL. If it was something regarding domestic violence, you could be assured that they would have corrected that problem. You know, unfortunately for Colin, it seems that the NFL has turned a deaf ear to the notion that he is being blackballed. We all know he's being blackballed, but they don't care.
Oh, so we have, and we have apathy. We just don't care. But, you know, this is flip it, so you never know what side the panel is really on. So we're going to flip the script. The NFL is totally concerned about their image. A protest will be just what is needed to justify bringing him back in the league. It would actually help his chances. CJ, and I told you to put that biscuit down, but you can go for the mimosa. Go ahead and defend.
Well, I don't know about you, but September 10th is going to be a great day around this country because all the protests in Chicago, in Nashville, and soon more cities are going to have a Colin Kaepernick Day. And it's going to be fierce, and it's going to be fantastic of people unified, of saying that we want to see a change. And as long as people are getting together and wanting to see a change happen, it's going to happen. Maybe not in my lifetime, but it's going to happen. And these things are going to be addressed. And then we're going to look back and say how it used to be. Like it used to be when you had the first counter, people sitting on the counters. You couldn't eat lunch on the counter for a while. All of a sudden now everybody goes to a restaurant. Everybody's happy. But it wasn't like that 50 years ago. Everybody thinks that change is coming really fast, but change is coming kind of slow. And these people are still around. And that's the reason why these things need to be addressed so that they can be soothed and they can be comforted and compassion so that people can understand that we are Americans first. And we've all come through this throughout the 200 and 300 years. And it's an American. That's domestic violence. That is one thing. Like you said, First Lady, they'll get on domestic violence. They'll get on somewhat of drugs, somewhat of alcohol. It depends on what day it is. And today is the day that we start addressing these particular issues before they're just forgotten about. Onto another commercial or another tweet. So I applaud him for sticking it out, not saying a word, still trying to do the right thing. But he might become another Calvin Hodges. Isn't that his name from the Bulls? Remember what happened to him when he started talking?
That was Craig.
Craig, yeah, that's his name. Never saw him again in life, have you? You might run into him at the grocery store, but you surely don't see him on any mediator or moderators or trying to talk to somebody about some basketball. So we just have to see what plays out here. But yes, I'm hoping that the NFL is going to be the strong one. They're going to be the heroes. They're going to want to actually address it and say, yes, we can. Yes, we are going to make a difference in this history of the American way. For the free and the brave. And football.
All right. Preach, sister, preach. Goddess Kelly. The protest will help.
Well, it's no secret that Colin Kaepernick hasn't been a viable quarterback recently. But that being said, his quiet protest united a lot of people and got a lot of people talking about a very serious issue in this country of police brutality against Black Americans. And a lot of people that may have been ignorant about this all of a sudden have become learned and they've figured out what's going on. They've started to see these injustices. And Colin Kaepernick has become not only a hero to the Black Lives Matter movement going against the police brutality, but he's also become a hero of the First Amendment of our country. All these people saying, you know what, he needs to stop doing this, that kind of thing. All these other people are standing up and defending his First Amendment right. So, is he a good quarterback? Not in recent years, but he is now a hero. Whatever team picks him up, I can guarantee the money they're going to see out of Colin Kaepernick jersey sales is going to far outweigh the money that the NFL would lose in terms of a small segment of people that are going to protest and boycott the NFL because they don't want to see Colin Kaepernick in the league. So from a business standpoint, it is extremely smart to pick him up because your jersey sales are going to be on fire if you have this guy on your team. Even if he is a backup, people love him now and people are going to stand behind him no matter what team it is. I know plenty of people that are hardcore fans of one team or another that would go out and buy a Colin Kaepernick jersey if it was any team except maybe the Dallas Cowboys because nobody wants to be seen with that star on their chest. But yeah, so I think it's definitely going to help if the NFL gets to see the number of people that are standing behind him and supporting him. They're going to realize that signing Colin Kaepernick to a team is definitely going to be a smart business decision, and the owner that finally does it is going to be seen as a genius in marketing.
All right, you heard the defense from the goddess, but we always wrap up with the First Lady defend.
Well, Goddess Kelly, I'm taking it a little bit different. I did look at the business side, but I'm taking it from a different point of view. Because any protest against the NFL will be viewed as a concern for Mr. Roger Goodell because, you know, the NFL is still suffering from the stigma of the domestic violence situation, and they do not like negative attention towards the NFL. I mean, why do you think the NFL just hit Ezekiel Elliott with a 6-game suspension? I mean, the rally in New York could help Colin, you know, if people follow it up with an action. And there is a petition out there at change.org. It's asking fans to boycott the NFL. They're asking fans not to watch the games, not buy tickets, not even buy merchandise if Colin Kaepernick doesn't play this season. So like you said, Goddess Kelly, there is a lot of support out there for him, but they're looking to really stick it to the NFL. And, you know, the NFL is 70% black players. 75% black players are on NFL teams. So one can surmise that there's a high percentage of black people watching the football game. Now, that's one thing. And if people stop boycotting the NFL, it's really going to be a big problem for the NFL because it's starting to take money away from them, revenues. That's hitting them in the pocket. And we all know that these owners do not like to have their bottom line decrease. And if this happens, I think it's going to force Roger Goodell to reach out to some of these teams secretively, because, you know, it's going to be secretively, and they're going to have to see if somebody can sign Kaepernick, because what's going to happen, the owners are going to have to look at the bigger picture, and it's not going to be about Kaepernick. It's going to be about their bottom line, and they don't want to see that suffer. So people continue to protest, and I really think the petition and the boycotting is going to be the way to go to get Colin Kaepernick into the NFL.
Well, we got the defense from the panel on both sides. Do you really know which side they're on? You might be surprised, and we're not going to tell. But First Lady, what we are going to do is please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2. Free Colin Kaepernick.
Hit it.
Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Goddess Kelly, take it over.
Well, First Lady, I think we got something very interesting for you in the panel today. Men play tennis on the highway during traffic jam.
What?
Two men stranded by a traffic jam on a British highway were filmed making the best of the situation by playing a game of tennis in the road. The video, filmed Saturday in Newbury, England, shows two men using rackets to bat a tennis ball back and forth on the M6 highway. The footage shows several other drivers out of their cars looking bored in the traffic jam. The delays were reportedly caused by a serious crash up the road that required an air ambulance to be summoned to the scene. I think this is great. You know what? The M6 is reportedly one of the worst highways in the history of the world. So you know what? There's crashes on that highway all the time. I hope nobody was hurt.
Oh
So
my God.
definitely, you know what? My heart goes out to the victims of the crash. But you know what? If you're going to be stuck in traffic jam, make the best of it. So I think that this is a lot of fun. I wish I had a tennis racket in my car because I get stuck on the 22 every day. But
You know, the thing is, see, in the United States, unfortunately, somebody pull out a racket, they want to hit somebody with it. Police, next thing you know, and if it's that kind of, and if the traffic jam is, you know, if you got everybody on board like that, now you know what's going to happen is that's party time. Folks going to, all of a sudden there's going to be some weed, somebody going to have a little bit cooler in the back of the truck, and, you know, so it can go that way. But back to you, God.
I mean, if you think about it too, that's a very British thing to do, play tennis and drink your tea while you're stuck on the highway. But wait a minute, I think a little bit of water is splashing on me. Is it time for our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
Time for Flip It, where our host defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. The NFL just slappity slapped your star running back with a 6-game suspension for violating the personal conduct policy for the Big D, domestic violence. We asked the panel if the suspension is upheld. Will the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs? And I promise y'all they're not biased. Panel defend. The Cowboys are not a one-dimensional team. They can overcome Zeke missing 6 games and make the playoffs. Goddess defend.
Well, we all know that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the NFC East. But the New York Giants and the Washington Redskins, there's a lot of issues going on those two teams. So the Dallas Cowboys have a very viable chance of making a wild card spot to get into the playoffs because there is a lot of teams in the NFC right now that are going through some rebuilding and they don't have, you know, what's good. There's definitely a clear-cut team on the top of every division, but those secondary wild card spots are so up in the air right now, at least the way I'm looking at schedules. So I think that they definitely do have a chance. Dak Prescott is still a viable quarterback. There's no denying that. And he does have a lot of other weapons besides Ezekiel Elliott. And it is just 6 games. They're going to be able to get in there, get some decent wins still. The beginning of their schedule is pretty easy. So they're not going to win the division, but a wild card spot, absolutely. They got that.
Okay, we heard the defense, and I told, as I said, the panel is not biased. And CJ, who put the biscuits down, and now it has, but she guzzled the mimosa. Please defend.
They're going to be able to make it without him because the team is going to have to rally around him. That's going to be their, we've got to do it for him. Until he gets back. Just hold out for 6 games. We got it. We got it if we can just do it. That's their Siskumbah cheer. They're gonna hold out. Hold that line a little longer. So, yeah, they're going to have a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. His teammates are going to come through for him. And then they'll be dancing in the sunlight.
Dancing in the sun. All right. Okay. Dancing in the sunlight. Dallas fans, no worries. No worries. Don't worry. Be happy. Uh, First Lady, defend. No problem.
It's not going to be a problem. Let's face it, the Cowboys have a tremendous offensive line, and pretty much any running back in that backfield can do well with that offensive line. And we're not talking about just any backup. We're talking about Darren McFadden. He can be just effective rushing instead of Zeke Elliott. And if you remember, McFadden, I think, was one reason why the Cowboys didn't give DeMarco Murray a big contract, because he is a reliable running back. Let's face it, when he took over as the main running back in 2015, in 10 games, he rushed for 1,089 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and caught 40 passes for 328 more yards. I mean, McFadden is a great replacement for Zeke. And if something happens to McFadden, because, yeah, he is injury prone, they got Alfred Blue. That's another experienced running back. Rushing will not be a problem with Zeke on for 6 games. The Cowboys are so versatile. And remember, Dez Bryant is going to be healthy. He was unhealthy last year. He's healthy again, and he can pick up the slack for Zeke not being there. I mean, let's face it, the Cowboys have a lot of weapons, so I don't have a problem. They're going to make it to the playoffs. And, hey, let's say they'll make it, and how about those Cowboys? How about them Cowboys?
Okay. Don't worry. Be happy, Cowboy fans. But you know this is Flip It, where we flip the script and defend the opposing view. Now, as I said, the panel's not biased. But did someone say Eagles? The Cowboys will not make the playoffs with Zeke missing 6 games. And Goddess Kelly, defend.
First, I want to say, CJ, that was the best impression of a football team I've ever heard when you did that voice. That was awesome. So, yeah, that was good. But, yeah, the Cowboys, they're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, if you look at it, with Zeke, their number 1 weapon, being gone for 6 games, yeah, they've got a great offensive line, but you have to remember what division they're playing in. And not only do my Philadelphia Eagles have their number, but so do the Giants. The Redskins, no, I'm not so sure about them. But it's going to be enough missing that weapon. And their defense is terrible. So they're going to be scoring less. They still can't defend the ball. Dez Bryant has been on an implosion for years. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's starting to go mental. If we look at Jason Witten, he is so old. I'm just saying, he's old. It's time for him to retire already. Get out of here, Jason Witten. And Dak Prescott, you were a one-hit wonder. Now that the opposing defenses have film on you, now that the linebackers in the NFC have gotten better, this was a very defense-heavy draft class. Don't forget that. We are going to be able to study you and be ready for you. So be prepared. You're not going to have this easy, smooth sailing year like you did last year. So the Cowboys, they have not done enough to get better. Missing their star running back is not going to help them. They're going to be lucky if they can go 8-8.
Okay, you heard the defense from a non-biased goddess. CJ, defend. Cowboy fans, you better get worried. They ain't making the playoffs. Defend.
Well, they're not making the playoffs. Unfortunately, their little costumes are going to get awfully dusty this year. They're going to be in the wash a whole lot, because they have a defense, but they don't have any offense. They're going to be just beaten up. Every time they get onto the field, it's going to be smash, boom, pop. Let's try again. Then somebody's got to get hurt. And to wait out 6 games for why? Why are we losing? Because of a guy who hits women? We got to look at you every day. That's not going to be easy. on the morale of their team either. It's going to be hard on them. I say give them next year to recoup. 8-8, you'd give them a good one, Goddess. I was thinking more on the 6-6er side, maybe, if they win. And that's in good weather.
All right. Thank goodness they play in a dome. First Lady gets the final word. The
Well, Zeke missing 6 games, I mean, it is so detrimental to the Cowboys making the playoff because he had 15, let me count them, 15 rushing touchdowns last year. That is just too much for a team to overcome. I mean, yes, they have backup running backs, but let's face it, Darren McFadden, he only rushed for 3 touchdowns when he was the full-time running back. So that's a lot smaller than 15. So it's going to be difficult for them to really have a running back to produce what Zeke was able to do. I mean, the loss is so significant. And like Goddess Kelly was talking about, yeah, they have Dak Prescott, but teams have eyes on him. Like she said, teams are going to be able to zone in and they're going to be able to defend Dak Prescott. So there is no longer that dual threat with Zeke and Dak. So unfortunately, the Cowboys, they're going to find themselves in some deep trouble, and they will just miss the playoffs.
Okay, you heard the defense on both sides, so flip it for this week. First Lady, please take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Miss Celly on Shout Out. Please stay tuned.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
Hit it.
You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, Jambalaya, and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the First Lady and the crew. First Lady, what we got next?
Well, we have another performance from Miss Celly. Hopefully she can redeem herself with some of the panelists. But anyway, DJ, let's hear White Sheep. I hope she's not talking about the KKK. Anyway, I'm sorry. White Sheep. Let's go.
Face to face, lips on lips, I feel my heart speed up when you're this close to me. Got lace under the dress and my hair is all wet. Got me all covered in sweat, we ain't getting no rest. In the cold and feeling this body, I've lost my mind, I can barely breathe. Let's make a little mess, a little love under these white sheets. Stay in bed and make love to the sound of his heartbeat. Let's make a little mess, a little love under these white sheets. Taste me, touch me, I feel my skin crawling when your fingers run down my body. Touch lace under the dress and my hair is all wet. Got me all covered in sweat, ain't getting no rest. In the cold and feeling this body, I've lost my mind, I can barely breathe. Let's make a little mess, a little love under these white sheets. Stay in bed and make love to the sound of his heartbeat. Let's make a little mess, a little love under these white sheets. Day in, day out, take me down under these white sheets, under these white sheets. Take me down under these white sheets.
That's a quick ending. All right, let's go to the panel and see what they think about White Sheets by Miss Celly. CJ, I'm going to start with you. Shouting it out or hitting the mute button? Well, I guess her silence means she's hitting the mute button.
I'm shouting it out.
Oh, you shouting it out? Okay, I thought you were quiet there for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to shout it out.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second. I'm going to shout it.
Okay, you had to retrace it back in your mind. All right. Ronnie B., did you like the song? You giving it a shout out or you hitting the mute?
See, that's what those mimosas will do for you in biscuits, CJ. But I'm going to give it a yo, but I will say this. Miss Celly ain't nothing but a freak. She ain't nothing but a freak. She got them freaky lyrics going on. Now, I think she got potential, but I'm going to give her a yo with her little freaky self. And, by the way, that's Ronnie at oldgrumpyradio.com, Miss Celly.
Goddess Kelly.
Man, I had the mute button that one. That was just, you know what? The white sheet, like when you raise the white flag, it's like you give up, it's like you surrender, and that's what Miss Celly needs to do. Raise that white sheet up in the air and just give it up already. That reminded me of like when you were a kid and you said to your mom, Mom, I really want some Oreos. And your mom goes to the store and she comes back with the store brand generic Oreos. It was like that. It's not as sweet and it didn't taste good and it was just awful.
Oh, man. Goddess Kelly, I disagree with you. I'm going to give Miss Celly another shot. I actually like this song better than I did the first song.
Me too.
I did. I liked the song. I really thought she had good lyrics. The music was even better. And I just like the whole vibe of Miss Celly. Miss Celly, you keep doing what you do, okay? Anyway, that's the end of the shout-out. If you like what you heard from Miss Celly, you can check her out at itsmisscelly.com, and it's MISSCELLY.com. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, you can send your emails and tracks to Panties at oldgrumpyradio.com. Well, it's time to turn it over to Goddess Kelly because she has some jambalaya for us. What you got cooking, Miss Goddess Kelly?
I have got a special mix for our panel today. I'm going to read you guys a quote, and then I'm going to ask the panel to say how the quote relates to someone or a situation. Here's my quote. I'd like to see things from your point of view, but I can't seem to get my head that far up my ass. And panel, I ask you, how does this quote relate to the Miami Dolphins signing Jay Cutler instead of Colin Kaepernick? CJ.
Again, they're going to put their head in the stand or up their ass, whichever one. It's just going to cover it. Just cover it up. Just don't think about it.
Ronnie B.
In this case, how it relates is that dumb does as dumb do. When it comes to Colin Kaepernick, the league is dumber than dumber, and Roger Goodell is a slick character. Look for Colin Kaepernick to be on the team the last week of preseason. He'll be on the team before the season kicks off to preempt protests.
First Lady.
Well, I guess what it means to me that I can't get my head that far up my ass because I can't see too much of the BS that's going around with the people not picking Colin Kaepernick. Because yeah, Adam Gase has some familiarity with Jay Cutler, but let's face it, Colin Kaepernick was the better quarterback of the two. So I mean, it's just a lot of bullshit going around. That's just all I got to say.
Well, I mean, you say that Adam Gase has some familiarity with Jay Cutler, and that's true. He should be familiar with the fact that Jay Cutler sucks. Jay Cutler can't find an open receiver if, there was no defenders on the field. If you think about it, the Miami Dolphins have their heads so far up their ass if they think that Jay Cutler is going to be able to do anything for that team, especially with that offensive line that they have. So this is just complete and utter stupidity and ignorance on all sides, even if we don't even think about Colin Kaepernick. Just the fact that it's Jay Cutler means they've got their head up their ass, at least to me. But hey, that's how jambalaya goes. But that was delicious. So First Lady, back over to you.
All right, well, it's time for the panels to give their outrageous predictions for the week. Let's see what we have. CJ, I'm going to start with you. What's your outrageous prediction for the week?
McGregor is going to win.
We can't get more outrageous than that. Goddess Kelly, what's your outrageous prediction?
Mine's not sports, mine's politics. My outrageous prediction is that Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are going to become best friends.
That's a good one. Ronnie B, what's your outrageous prediction?
And that I'm trying to think of the guy's name who played for the Bulls and Detroit. Oh, Dennis Rodman will be the one to bring peace. He's the key to bringing peace to the North Korean, South Korea. He's the linchpin. See, people don't realize how masterful Dennis Rodman is. I mean, look at the spell he put on Madonna.
Okay. Well, anyway, my outrageous prediction is that CNN will say something positive about Donald Trump. They're going to say something positive about Donald Trump this week. All right. On August 31st, it will be 20 years since the death of Princess Diana. And in honoring her, I will be providing her words for the remaining of the month. She was one of my favorites, Princess Di. And it's so ironic when you have two world leaders, and we're talking about Donald Trump and the Korean dictator. They're threatening each other. Princess Di once said, quote, "The greatest problem in the world today is intolerance. Everyone is so intolerant of each other." That's Princess Di. Please enjoy the poetic performance at the end of the show. This has been Cheryl Smith, CJ, and Goddess Kelly. And Ronnie B., you have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports.
Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. I can't sleep at night. I ain't thinking right. Redeem me. Because I pawned my life somehow, now ransom is due. She had it all. Reverence with no consequence, so it seemed. None of her actions seemed binding, so it seemed. Guided with no responsibility as my world fails me. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like Egyptian days. Orange sun, warm sand, Hebrew scorn like Moses coming down from the mountain. African slave like Hebrew, you've been warned. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like gang fights, territorial, same struggle, different bubble. Mothers huddle to comfort one another. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like mom and daddy had a fight last night. Woke up, no eyesight. Cooked breakfast like everything was all right. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like sending our boys overseas to fight. Doing it for our country don't make it right, because family still can't sleep at night. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like Papa didn't have it. You're no longer in the baby carriage. Fly, little bird, fly. Forcing you to move forward 3 weeks, no phone call. You pissed off, she pays for it. Because just like mama, she gives up her mortgage, and daddy don't even know it. Sounds like redemption. I want my daughters back, white and black. Mesmerized by crack, used to be fat. P-H-A-T, pretty hot and tempting. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like I want my innocence back. He stole it, she know it, and she always knew that. Now she's raising a stepdaughter / granddaughter. Water under the bridge, hell no, manslaughter. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like New World Order. Bartering won't be enough. Slaughtering will be a must. Survival will be tough. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like persecution with no conscience, prosecution with no haunches. He died for no one's death. Let your child go to jail for accidental death. Jesus' love put to the test. Sounds like redemption. Redemption like 10 words or less. Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. If he can forgive, so can you. Sounds like redemption. Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. Looking back, it seems it's all a dream. I'm not just saying this for being mean. It's just my story and it's just my side. Sit back sometime, 'cause it's gonna take a while. Redemption.